All right, what is going on, guys? SteelTwins back at you with another video and with our very first 2021 NFL Draft full first round mock draft.
For the 2021 NFL offseason, of course, this is the first of what I think will be probably 3 or 4 of these. We're going to do one pre-free agency like we're doing right now. We'll do one after free agency as, of course, team needs and draft boards and draft needs will look drastically different.
Yep.
I expect both mock drafts, this one and the one after free agency, will look drastically different. But I think we'll also do one before the draft, as in like the week of the draft. You know what I mean? So I think that'll be interesting there. Like I said, this is a pre-free agency one. Now, it's already a crazy offseason. We've seen Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford swap teams. We've seen Carson Wentz go to the Colts. And we still got guys like Deshaun Watson to get traded. We still got free agency coming aboard. So it's going to be a crazy offseason as March approaches, which is thankfully and excitingly approaching fast.
Yes, it's already exciting, and it's only going to get even more exciting.
For sure. So let's get right into the mock draft. Select all. Now, we are on Pro Football Network. The reason why we're on here is because we can propose trades free of charge. So it's a lot easier. Plus, they add team needs and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. It's pretty nicely. It's resourceable, I'd say. But we got the Jags first overall on the clock. I think it's obvious.
I think it's just as obvious this year as it was last year for Joe Burrow going to the Bengals, Trevor Lawrence to the Jaguars. It's pretty obvious. Get your franchise quarterback.
It's definitely inevitable. Now we have the Jets, number 2 overall. They could go many ways here. They could go receiver, which we know they need. They could go line to protect Darnold, I guess, or whoever they select later on. Or they could go quarterback. Now, teams have reached out to the Jets to determine the whereabouts of Sam Darnold, but there's a report that the Jets have yet to finish their quarterback evaluations, of course. So they're going to have to wait until they finish that to make any rash decisions at the quarterback position.
Right.
But I don't think that's going to bear them away from going quarterback 2nd overall.
Yeah, and I think that could be Mac Wilson. I'm sorry, Zach Wilson. I'm sorry.
Yes, Mac Wilson, the linebacker out of Alabama.
Yeah, imagine that. But no, like seriously, Zach Wilson, I think he will be the quarterback going to the Jets. I do think he goes over Justin Fields, and I can understand why some teams have said supposedly that they are worried about Fields and how he plays on the field and if he can read defenses on the field. I can understand why, but I think that's always a risk when it comes to rookie quarterbacks every single year. You know, I think Fields is still going to be a good quarterback, just like Lawrence and just like Wilson. I think all 3 of them could be complete studs in the league.
It's being mocked often that Wilson will go ahead of Fields. I wouldn't be surprised.
And I can see why. Wilson's a hell of a quarterback. And if the Jets do get a guy like Zach Wilson, maybe they can finally, after several years of failure quarterbacks they've drafted and gotten.
Yeah, they can finally strike gold at quarterback position for once.
Yeah.
Now we have the Miami Dolphins 3rd overall. They could go offensive lineman here. Sewell's on the board. They could go receiver. We know they need receiver. They could trade back. There could be a team that wants to trade up in front of the Falcons maybe because there's talks they could go quarterback, which I don't agree with. I don't see it happening because Stafford still has 3 years left in his contract. Him, Julio, and Ridley are still showing off elite level. So
yeah, they're not showing any, especially Matt Ryan, they're not showing any signs of slowing down whatsoever. So, I still think Matt Ryan's a pretty good quarterback in the league.
So I don't see the Falcons going quarterback unless the new GM and head coach there in Atlanta want to go a different direction. But I don't think that's going to occur. So I don't see no trades occurring with Miami just yet. Do they go receiver or line here?
I'd probably say wide receiver. They need a true number 1. Devontae Parker is a pretty talented guy, but he's not a true number 1.
Nor is Preston Williams.
Or nor is anybody else they got. They got a lot of talent at wide receiver right now, but they don't have number 1s. And with a guy like Tua Tagovailoa as your quarterback, you need him. You need to give him a number 1. I think right there will be Jamar Chase on the board.
First wide receiver off the board over the Heisman winner.
I do think that, and I can understand why because of Devontae's weight and
stature. Frame.
Right, but I don't think that's really going to matter. I think Smith's still going to be a great wide receiver in the league, but I think Chase will go first.
Okay. Now we have the Falcons. We already discussed we don't think they're going to go quarterback here, even though Justin Fields is on the board. They need edge rush.
Badly. They have no pass rush.
Quiddy paid for Michigan.
There you go.
I think it's pretty obvious there.
I think it's pretty obvious for the Bengals right here because if they want to make sure that Joe Burrow doesn't turn out like Andrew Luck, You got to protect him.
You got to give that man a line. And this is coming from two Steelers fans who love to pressure Bengals quarterbacks. Believe us.
Yes, we've done it for years, and we ain't stopping.
No, we ain't going to slow down. But, I mean, you got to protect Burrow. That's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Now we have the Eagles. This is an interesting discussion. I don't think they'll go quarterback. First of all, it'd be idiotic for them to go quarterback because they went quarterback last year in the second round, and Jalen Hurts. Why the hell would you go quarterback again this year when you know damn well you need receiver?
Or even defense.
Or even defense.
But Jalen Hurts, obviously...
Because they could use a linebacker.
That they could use, yeah. They have no linebackers. They have no defense in general, but especially linebackers.
That's an underrated selection for the Eagles, is linebacker. Micah Parsons is right there.
He is there. But since Jalen Hurts is going to be their new starting quarterback next season, now I think Hurts and the Eagles system can definitely succeed. I think he fits the mold perfectly as a Philadelphia Eagles quarterback.
Right.
But if you want a guy like him to succeed, if you really want to make sure that he can succeed as your Eagles franchise quarterback, you need to give him a target. You need to give him help because you didn't do it for Carson Wentz. You fucked that up. Now, Carson Wentz has targets in Indianapolis. He has an offensive line. He has a reliable rushing game. That's something he never had in Philly, probably ever. If you want Hurts to succeed, you need to give him some help. You need to give him a target.
You're right, but now that I think about it, they really do need a linebacker. They have no linebackers.
No, they don't.
However, it is impossible to pass up on the Heisman Trophy winner.
It is, especially if you really want to make sure Hurts can succeed. You got to give him a true target. I think Javonte Smith could go to Philly.
I think Micah Parsons is an incredibly quiet pick for Philly at 6.
No, I can see it. I definitely agree with you.
But I'm going to go Devonta Smith. You have the Heisman Trophy winner right there. The first Heisman Trophy winner for a wide receiver in almost 30 years. You don't pass up on him.
Concerning the other receivers they passed on 2 straight years in a row.
Yes, and you guys already know those.
Yes, so you can't pass up on this guy.
Now you got the Detroit Lions. They traded Matthew Stafford away. They got Jared Goff. They did get some decent capital out of it, though. So
I don't know how for Matthew Stafford. I mean, shoot.
Well, they kind of had to if they were going to, accept Goff's contract.
Yeah, that's understandable because Goff got a lot of money for no reason.
For literally no reason. But Lions could use receiver here. Galladay's going to be a free agent, although I do think he gets franchise tagged. That has not occurred yet, though. The franchise tag season is open. Any team can franchise any player they want if they choose to.
Right.
None has occurred yet. They could also use linebacker.
They have no linebackers. Gerard Davis has been a bust for them since joining the Lions, and he's going to be leaving.
And according to the team needs, wide receiver, linebacker, the top 2 needs for sure.
Right. I do think Galladay does stay, though. I definitely think they're going to franchise tag him. If that's the case, then I think they go Micah Parsons right here. They need defense, and they need a linebacker.
For sure. Now you got to the Carolina Panthers. It's pretty obvious.
They're desperate for a quarterback. They've been trying to get a quarterback, and you can tell that they don't have faith in Bridgewater anymore.
No. However, there's obvious discussion that they could be restructuring contracts and creating cap for a possible trade with the Texans for Deshaun Watson, which I can completely see.
But again, it has not happened yet.
No.
So obviously, right now, Justin Fields going to the Panthers.
Yeah. Now we have the Denver Broncos. There's talks they could go quarterback. I don't see it. I think they're going to stick with Locke. I think Locke deserves one more year to prove himself.
No, he definitely
with a healthy roster.
He definitely exactly. That's the thing with Drew Lock. He sustained an injury himself, and injuries surrounding him. It didn't help him at all whatsoever.
Literally everywhere.
Yeah, I think Locke deserves another chance. I think you can definitely give him more time, and I think he can still be a pretty good quarterback for the Broncos. I do. I really do. I think he has a lot of talent. So I don't think to go quarterback here. One position I definitely think they can go, though, is cornerback. They're releasing A.J. Boye, and they don't have any number 1 corners. Outside of Bryce Callahan, maybe, but I think at best he's a slot for them.
I think he's a starting slot guy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they could use corner. Patrick Surtain's on the board. Do you think they go Surtain?
I think they go Surtain. They need a new number 1 corner.
I think it's certain they go Surtain. Now we have the Dallas Cowboys.
I saw what you did here, by the way.
They could go corner as well. They badly need corners. They have no corners.
Yeah. The loss of Byron Jones definitely hurt him a lot last year.
Definitely.
You can definitely tell. So they're going to need a new corner.
And according to the team, needs cornerback number 1. They could go tight end here with Kyle Pitts. But
Which I can see happening, considering that they are trying to sign Dak Prescott long-term because, you saw what happened when he went down. It didn't look too good. It goes to show, although Dak Prescott really ain't all that in my honest opinion, it goes to show how valuable he is to the Cowboys, though. And getting a guy like maybe Kyle Pitts could intrigue Dak Prescott to sign a long-term deal.
But don't forget they're getting Blake Jarwin back.
That is
He's
true.
a solid starting tight end.
But it is Jerry Jones,
But you need defense.
They do need defense, but like I said, this is Jerry Jones that we're talking about.
I know, but I believe the Cowboys signed Dan Quinn to be their defense coordinator. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Actually, they did. I forgot all about that.
So they need cornerback.
I think they go corner in general. I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked if they go Kyle Pitts
because
he's the more familiar top name right now.
Right. But now we have a fellow NFC East team rather. We have the New York Giants. They could go edge here. That's one of their team needs here is edge. They could go corner, which I don't know why that's a team need.
No, I definitely disagree on corner. They still have Logan Ryan, who they extended. They have James Bradbury, who was a very underrated corner in all of the NFL last year.
And they could move Julian Love back down to possibly slot receiver since they're getting Xavier McKinney back. And don't forget they still have Jabril Peppers at strong safety.
Yeah.
That secondary on paper looks very solid.
Very talented.
So I don't see cornerback being a need. Receiver possibly, because they don't have a number 1.
Yeah, Golden Tate more than likely is leaving. Darius Slayton shows flashes, but he's not an ideal number 1, and neither is Sterling Shepard. He's at best a slot guy.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle is on the board.
What they could do is they could put Shepard and Slayton outside and put Waddle in the slot.
I think Waddle in the slot would be perfect for his size and speed and catchability.
Give Daniel Jones a true number 1 target.
That could work out. I can see Jalen Waddle going to the Giants.
Yeah, I know they need edge, but don't forget Leonard Williams still exists. I don't know what his contract discussion is there in New York, but he looked very solid this year. He really stepped up his game. Don't forget about him.
Right.
Plus, they still have the dude from Old Dominion.
Shane
Zimenez. Yeah, so they got him as well, who I really like coming out of Old Dominion. So I wouldn't sleep on that pass rush.
No,
next
not at
year.
all.
But now we have the San Francisco 49ers. They could go quarterback. Trey Lance is on the board.
They could definitely go quarterback.
I don't think that happens. I think they stick with Garoppolo. I don't agree with that, but I think they stick with Garoppolo.
I think they do give Jimmy Garoppolo at least one more shot. See if he can do anything. With a healthy 49ers team, if they can stay healthy.
Yes.
That is the big thing about the 49ers. They need to stay healthy.
One thing they really need, though, is cornerback.
Yeah, because Richard Sherman's leaving. Jason Verrett, he's not a number 1 anymore. And he's injury prone. Although he's been able to stay healthy lately, he's still got the risk of being injured. And who else they got? Akilo Witherspoon? He's not a number 1.
No.
They need a new number 1.
They seriously do need corner. Best corner on the board is J.C. Horn.
There you go. They need a corner badly.
Yeah. Now we have the Los Angeles Chargers. They need left tackle badly, as it shows right here in the team needs. Offensive tackle, cornerback, offensive guard, wide receiver. Yeah,
Rashawn Slater's on the board, and I think, what's his name? Brian Bull. I know he's a former Packer. I can't exactly pronounce his last name, but I know he's going to be. I actually think they cut him. So, yeah, they're going to need someone to fill in that spot there.
Yeah, they're going to need offensive tackle for sure.
Yeah.
Now, we have the Minnesota Vikings. This is a very interesting spot. They could go guard. They could go tackle. They could go edge. We all know they need edge. They have no edge rushers. The days of Everson Griffin and Danielle Hunter are gone.
Yeah.
Danielle Hunter's, I believe he has a possible career-ending neck injury. Correct me if I'm wrong. He has some sort of serious injury that had him out all last year. They have no edge rushers. So
No.
edge could be a sleeper pick right here for Minnesota.
Or
Or
I could see the first trade happening right here. Because look at the team that's after them. The New England Patriots. And who is going to be their quarterback?
I can tell you who it won't be.
Cam-
It won't be Cam Newton. It won't be Jarrett Stidham.
No. They have not shined at all. Cam Newton, I don't even know where he goes, to be honest. He's going to be a free agent, but I don't even know if he gets signed, to be honest. And Stidham, he's at best a backup. And the Patriots, I can definitely see him getting a guy like Trey Lance if he's there at 15. But I see two teams that obviously need quarterback. That's the Washington football team at 19 and the Chicago Bears at 20. But I don't see the Vikings trading with a division rival, potentially giving their division rival their franchise quarterback and screwing them for the next, 15 years.
No, that's not happening. If Trey Lance is still on the board and the Bears want to trade up for Lance, they would have to make a trade with the Chargers. Now, that's something we probably should have just explored, but I think the Chargers are going to stand their ground and go offensive tackle here.
Right, especially if Rashawn Slater's on the board.
Right.
But then again, with the Vikings right there and the Patriots potentially getting a quarterback, I mean, you can't go wrong going ahead of the Patriots, making sure they don't get a quarterback, making sure they don't, get back on top of the mountain after they've been there for 20 years.
Right.
And maybe the Vikings want to screw over the Bears. Like, screw your franchise, screw your team.
Right.
You ain't getting the future. So I can see a trade happening here with the football team and the Vikings.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
All right, so Washington will trade with the Vikings.
Obviously, they swap first-round picks.
Clearly.
Let's do the 74th pick, and let's do a 2022 third-round pick.
Oh, third round, okay.
Yeah. Let's see if that works.
And it shall.
It does, and it's pretty obvious.
Trey Lance and the Washington football team get their future quarterback, a stud, in Trey Lance.
Yes, and I will say this about the Washington football team. They got an up-and-rising defense, and if they do get a guy like Trey Lance, they get their future quarterback. I think the football team could be on the rise with Ron Rivera head coach. I think the football team could be a very, very, very good team down the future, down the road.
Oh, definitely. I think they can take that division for sure if they do get a guy like Lance. Now we have the Patriots. I think it's obvious here. You have arguably the best prospect, in the whole draft. Probably the best tight end prospect in years. You know they need tight end.
Well, they need a target in general.
That's fair.
They need a target in general.
The best receiver on the board right now is Rashad Bateman.
But I don't think he's top 15.
No.
I don't.
Kyle Pitts is arguably top 10.
You need a target, and you need a tight end. So the Patriots, I think it's obvious.
Yeah. Now we have the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this is interesting here. They could go corner because, of course, Patrick Peterson will no longer be in Arizona, and they have Byron Murphy, who I really like, but he's a little undersized to be a number one.
Yes, definitely. I agree.
They could go offensive lineman here, protect Kyler Murray. They could go running back. I'm hearing they could go running back because Kenyon Drake's a free agent.
Right.
Or they could trade back because they have little capital.
Very little. I think they only got 5 picks overall. And they could use some picks. And I see a team that desperately could use an edge rusher because I see an edge rusher still on the board in Gregory.
From Miami, Florida.
Yes. And the team I'm talking about is the Tennessee Titans.
Wow.
They suck at pass rush.
No.
They have no pass rushers. Jadeveon Clowney was a big free agent bust after sitting out for Boku Bucks. He didn't attain a sack. Vic Beasley didn't live up to anything at all. They have no pass rushers.
Harold Landry, correct? Statistically, what has he done?
Not much. When it comes to pass rush, not much. Jeffrey Simmons is probably their best guy, but that's one dude.
Wow.
That's
Jeffrey
one dude.
Simmons is their best guy.
Probably. And that's not really a bad thing to say because Simmons is a pretty good player, but you're asking for one guy to pretty much lead a pass rush, and one guy can't do it. Titans need a pass rush, and if a guy like Gregory is somehow still on the board, I can see him trading up.
So you think the Titans trade up with Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go Titans, trade up with the Cardinals.
Let's, obviously, first-round picks.
Swap first-rounders. Look at the little capital Arizona has right now.
And why not Arizona trade back, get some capital, and maybe get a prospect that could still be there at number 22.
Right.
That could work for Arizona in Arizona's favor, and Tennessee can get the edge rusher. I'm thinking 85 and 100.
Okay. So that would give them another day 2 pick, and possibly, I don't know if 100 is a late third. It might be a late third, a very late third, possibly early day 3. But that's a big gap between 79 and 161. It'd be a big gap between 53 and 126 for Tennessee. But if you're gonna get your pass rush going, it's got to be worth it,
right? And it has been accepted. There we go. So Tennessee gets their pass rusher that they need.
Wow.
There we go.
Imagine that.
I can see it happen.
I can see it too. Imagine that. Now another team that surely needs pass rush is the Oakland Raiders. According to the team needs, they need safety, corner, D tackle, or edge?
They need pass rush.
I'd say so.
They got
Max Crosby's good. Cleveland Farrell statistically hasn't done much in the pass rush. So, I mean, they could use another guy.
They could use a guy. I mean, you can't go wrong with another dude.
No. We've already seen some of the best front sevens in the past few years. The 49ers and the football team. Man, they got
how stacked their depth is, their front seven is in general.
Right.
You can't go wrong adding another guy to that for the Las Vegas Raiders.
So if we're looking at edge, the top two guys are Aziz from Georgia and Joseph from Texas.
I think they take Aziz here.
Well, according to the rankings, he's the best edge rusher there. So you think they go Aziz?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now we have the Miami Dolphins. They could trade back here. I do see a team willing to trade up for a possible offensive tackle since he is right there on the board. And we all know the Dolphins themselves need offensive tackle.
Right. However, there is a player on the board that could help them in the running game that could take pressure off of Tua Tagovailoa. That could complement him very well.
And you're thinking of one Najee Harris.
Yes.
So you think they go Najee?
I do. They need a running back. They got some talent at the running back position right now, but they don't have a number one. Najee can be that number one. And in day two, with the amount of capital they have, I'm sure they can find some studs day two for the offensive line.
Well, if I'm correct, now I'm not proposing a trade. I'm just very curious to see their capital. Yeah.
They got 3 day two picks, so they can get some studs there.
They can get, offensive linemen for sure. So you think they go Najee?
I think Najee, yeah.
Wow.
Najee Harris to the Dolphins.
So in the first round, they have taken Jamar Chase and Najee, 2 incredibly explosive offensive weapons.
That fixes their offense because the offense was what really hurt them a bit last year.
Yeah, and we all know that defense is very underrated and up and rising for sure.
Yeah, so you fix that offense and you contain that defense right now. I mean, Dolphins could, just like the football team, could be on the rise.
Yeah. Now we have the Minnesota Vikings. Again, they could seriously use edge, but they could also use offensive linemen. Now, Dalvin Cook, even with the lineman he previously had, he still put up crazy numbers because that's Dalvin Cook for you.
Yes.
They really need edge rush. But Elijah Vera Tucker's right there. And
a guy like him, it's kind of hard to pass up on a great offensive lineman right there.
And according to the team needs here for Minnesota, offensive guard, D tackle, edge, safety, offensive tackle.
I don't think they have any good guards overall.
No, they do not. And Vera Tucker is a perfect guard. He can play tackle, but he's a better guard.
And for the past couple of years, the Vikings' offensive line has not been great.
No.
So they need to buff up the offensive line for not only Dalvin Cook, but for Kirk Cousins as well.
Right.
You need to protect Kirk Cousins. You need to give him some time in the pocket.
I do think they should seriously look into edge rush. However,
I agree.
They could do that in free agency.
It's possible, yeah.
That's something to look at. Now we have, the Chicago Bears. This is an interesting discussion because we all know they have no quarterbacks.
Yeah, Trubisky's going to be a free agent. They still got Nick Foles, but he's not a guy that would be an ideal person to start all 16 games, nor should he.
And the best quarterback on the board right now?
Obviously, Mac Jones. And Mac Jones has been getting a lot of talk about him potentially going within the top 15.
How?
I can see it.
I can't.
I can. Now, I don't think Mac Jones is exactly all of that. I don't think he's terrible, but I don't think he's great. At least not yet. But considering that the Chicago Bears need a quarterback, considering I think they only have, 1 or 2 on the roster.
One being Nick Foles.
Yes.
God almighty.
And quite frankly, if you risk another position, like maybe wide receiver or offensive line or whatever the Chicago Bears need, you're risking Mac Jones potentially not being there day 2. I can see the Bears taking Mac Jones here at 20, just to make sure that they have a quarterback.
Really?
Not the quarterback that could be for the Chicago Bears, but at least a quarterback.
Now, they did take Trubisky. They traded up for Trubisky. So if they're going to trade up for Trubisky over the obvious,
I'm sure they'll take Mac Jones, no problem, at number 20.
How about
Which
that?
would not be a bad pick, though. I think if you give Mac Jones some time in development, maybe he could be a good quarterback. I just don't see much from him right now.
But we're also talking about Chicago Bears and Matt Nagy.
Yes, we are.
So
yeah. Anyway, we got the Indianapolis Colts.
they need offensive tackle. They need left tackle because their left tackle retired. Now, I do think the Indianapolis Colts, could make another great trade and are a favorite for Orlando Brown of the Ravens, who has requested a trade because he is a pure left tackle. He is not going to play left tackle for the Ravens because they got Ronnie Stanley over there.
Coming back from injury.
Otherwise, he would have to play right tackle.
And he doesn't want to do that.
Even though he is great at right tackle, but he's a pure left tackle. A team that needs left tackle badly?
The Indianapolis Colts, their left tackle retired.
But again, that has not occurred, so thus, their team needs right now is left tackle.
I mean, they got their quarterback in Wentz, so that's out of the picture. You just need to get a tackle. And right there is Darrisaw.
And if you get Darrisaw or even Brown, Orlando Brown, to protect Carson Wentz, along with who they already have.
Hey, listen, that's what Wentz needs to succeed. I see no way Wentz fails in Indianapolis. He's got all the tools and the environment around him to succeed.
And you know what? The Colts have, I think they have top 5 in most capital coming up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're one of the top teams. I could see them making a move for Allen Robinson.
I could see it.
Just putting it out there. I really like the Colts next year.
I could really see it, yeah.
I like where they stand. I like their defense. I like their head coach. I like the connection that the head coach has with Wentz, as Wentz had his best year with the head coach
Frank
for
Reich,
Indianapolis. Yeah. So I like where they stand, plus their draft capital, and, of course, the cap that they have.
Yeah.
Colts are going to be a crazy team next year.
Absolutely.
Now we have the Arizona Cardinals. Again, since they traded with the Titans.
Tennessee Titans, yeah. And I think right here they go corner, and the best corner on the board is Melifonwu.
From Syracuse.
Yeah. They get their new number 1 and a talented guy for their secondary and that defense.
Because they,
need it.
Yeah, for sure. Now we have the Jets. Interesting here.
New York Jets.
They could go receiver, or they could go running game. Top 2 needs.
Right. They got talent at wide receiver. They still got Denzel Mims. They still got Jamison Crowder.
In the slot.
They don't have a running back. Frank Gore's a free agent. I don't even know who else they got.
Michael P. Ryan. That's it.
Not starter worthy.
No.
They need someone to complement Zach Wilson. Because if you're going to bring a new quarterback into the Jets, you need a running game to complement him. Travis Etienne's on the board.
So you think they go Etienne?
I think they go Etienne right here. He's the best running back on the board, and a guy like him with the Jets wouldn't be bad at all.
No, that's crazy, though. What could be crazy for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they were to trade back? If I'm the Steelers right here, depending on who's on the board, which looking at it currently right now, there's not one serious guy that I would, fly off the boards for, unless you go best player available with Jeremiah Owuzu from Notre Dame. If you want to strengthen up linebacker. You could go Cosme, fix up your offensive tackle position. You could do that, but there's obvious talks of Zach Banner getting started at left tackle and then retaining Chucks at right tackle, which Colbert has said he likes those guys and he likes how deep offensive tackle is. So he could save offensive tackle for later. And Mike Tomlin loves his big, husky guys at tackle. Yeah, that's Zach Banner in a nutshell. That dude is massive.
He's a big dude, yeah.
So I can see them saving offensive tackle for later.
Yeah, I don't think they go tackle at 24.
None of the top running backs are on the board no more. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I am trading back.
And getting some draft capital out of it.
Now, what is one team that could trade with the Steelers that have common interests?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious right there at number 31, considering what happened in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we both need line, but I think the Chiefs could use it a little more as they are more desperate.
Quite frankly, I probably have to agree with you.
Right.
So the Chiefs trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right there. All right.
So we're going to swap first, of course.
Right. Let's do the 176 pick for the Chiefs.
All right, so a 5th rounder, I believe.
Since we don't have a 5th rounder, so we get one. And a 2022 4th rounder.
Okay.
Let's do that. Let's try that.
Declined.
All right, try swapping the
team?
Chiefs for the Steelers. Yeah, because you hit Chiefs first. Because when it comes to this website, it kind of does that for some unknown reason. Like, you got to have a certain team as the first one you select for it to agree.
Offer the trade?
For them to agree. So, see
and
right there you go. I don't know why the website's like that. It doesn't really matter. It's the same team.
I wouldn't think it matters.
It really shouldn't. Why? Because it's the Steelers pick on the board?
I guess. Or because they are proposing to trade. I don't know. But the Steelers trade back and the Chiefs move up for...
Samuel Cosme.
They need tackle.
They do.
Badly.
And Cosme for Patrick Mahomes?
Why not?
It's pretty good.
Good pass protector right there for sure. Now you have the Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars. They could use line as well. They could use safety. Don't forget, they could use safety.
They could really use safety, yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I can only name one safety for the Jaguars. His name is Andrew Wingard. Beautiful hair.
Great hair, but not a starter. Not a starter. They got rid of Ronnie Harrison, and I don't even know who the hell else they got.
So safety is a...
It's a sleeper pick, I'd say, for the Jags. Obviously, they need offensive linemen, but again, with how stacked this offensive line group is, especially in the later rounds, I can see them waiting.
Yeah.
And getting a stud like Trevin,
Mohrig. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but safety from TCU. Do you think they go him, maybe a Jenkins, maybe a Jalen Mayfield?
Now, considering they have a very early day 2 pick, I think they could still get one of those guys, possibly day 2.
Right.
And getting your safety there.
You could do that.
I mean, same with vice versa, because Trevin could still be there day 2, but, safety is a very heavy sleeper pick for the Jags since they don't have one.
They really don't.
So I don't know. If you're getting a guy like Trevor Lawrence, I think it'd be ideal to get a tackle in the first round.
You think?
That's what I think.
Especially with Cam Robinson being a free agent.
Yeah.
So you think you go Jenkins or Mayfield?
I'm gonna say Jenkins. I think Jenkins goes before Mayfield.
Okay. I would think so as well. Now we have the Browns. They need linebacker. They don't need corner. They got Ward. They got Williams, who when healthy is a good number 2. They're getting Grant Delpit back. They got Ronnie Harrison. They got Cedric Redwine. So they don't need corner. They don't need defensive back in general. Defensive back for them, honestly, on paper, when healthy, looks solid.
Yeah, it does.
They need linebacker. They got Mac Wilson. They got Taki. Outside guys. They don't have a general in the middle.
No, they don't. And the best player available is obviously Jeremiah. And I think it would be very nasty for the Browns to get a guy like him. But you know what? If it busts up their defense, I can see the Browns doing it.
For sure.
I can definitely see Stefanski getting a guy like him.
Now, another team that needs to buff up a position in need for sure is the Baltimore Ravens, as they solely need a number 1 wide receiver.
Marquise Brown's not a number 1. He's too small. He's too tiny. He shows flashes, but he's not inconsistent. He's not a number 1.
Now, they could go edge because Matt Judon is going to be a free agent. Don't forget that.
If I'm the Ravens, I'm letting him go. I don't really think
I'm letting him go, too.
I don't really think he's all that. I don't even know how the hell he made the Pro Bowl, if I'm going to be honest.
Right, but that's why I say edge could be a need here.
It could be. It really could be. I don't know. Like, you kind of have to go receiver, though, right? Because you don't have targets. And Jackson struggles when you don't have targets. Or when he passes the ball in general. But that's probably because he has no targets. Willie Snead's not good. Miles Boykin is tall. That's it.
That's
Devin Duvernay.
Devin
Devin Duvernay, I think he deserves more of an opportunity. I like Duvernay a lot coming out of college last year.
They need to put him in the slot, put Brown outside since he has good route running and separation ability, and put Bateman outside alongside with him. I think that's a good wide receiver core right there.
Yeah, I can definitely see Bateman going to the Ravens right there. You need to give Jackson some help.
You need to give him size and production.
Since their passing game was dead last year, you need to fix that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, also, their offensive coordinator didn't help. Are they retaining their offensive coordinator?
That's apparently what I heard. If that's the case, I mean...
Oh, good Lord, help them.
I mean, it'll help us.
It'll help, yeah, for sure. Now we got the Saints. They could go linebacker. They don't really have any... I mean, DeMario Davis is good, but I believe they're losing A.J. Klein as well.
Yeah, and Davis, although he's still great, he is getting older. And they could use some youth at linebacker core. I don't think they go quarterback. I think they now, Drew Brees hasn't announced his retirement yet. It's not official, but it's just speculation right now. Even if he does retire, I think they still go with Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston if they keep him. And the best quarterback on the board is probably Kyle Trask, but he's not a number 1. Or he's not a first-round pick, I mean. And I still think he's not a number 1 quarterback. I don't.
No.
I really don't. I think they go linebacker here because they could use one. I think they go David Collins.
Collins.
I think they go David Collins, a guy of his size and play style for the Saints defense would be pretty good.
Yeah, they could boost up that front seven for sure.
Yeah.
Now we got the Green Bay Packers. This is an interesting discussion. They could go receiver. They could finally give Aaron Rodgers a number 2, even though, does he really need it? Because he just won MVP with seriously only one target and a backup tight end that he eventually turned into a double-digit monster, who, by the way, is going to be a free agent. But I could see them resigning him and letting go of Aaron Jones. Or they could get Aaron Jones back, but have to release Robert Tonyan.
Right.
So, I don't know. They're a little tough. They could go receiver to boost up that offense a little bit. But they could also seriously use corner because what I'd imagine is going to be their former number 2 cornerback, or should be their former number 2 cornerback, Kevin King, is going to be a free agent, and he should not be signed anywhere because of what he did in the NFC Championship game. He got cooked by Mike Evans on the first drive. He got cooked by Scotty Miller on the last play before the end of the first half, and he pretty much cost the Green Bay Packers that game with that icing on top of the cake with that holding penalty at the end of the game. So they could use a number 2 corner alongside Jair Alexander, who seems to be the only guy trying, as he gave them 2 of 3 picks that they got off Tom Brady, in which the Packers offense took zero advantage of.
Yes, they did.
So, again, you keep going back and forth between cornerback and receiver for them. Now, offensive tackle could be a possible selection here, too. They could use a right tackle. Jalen Mayfield's right there.
He is right there. But if Kevin King's more than likely going to be a free agent, who are you going to replace him with?
I can't tell you.
Would it be ideal to go corner right here just to make sure you have a true number 2 alongside Alexander?
You could help boost up that defense a little bit.
And that's what I think they need to do. I can see him again wide receiver, but A. Rodgers came off arguably the best season of his entire career with 1 target. So I think he's fine. I think somehow, some way, Aaron Rodgers just finds a way to freaking get touchdowns to score.
That dude's a general, seriously. You think they'll go corner?
I think they'll go corner. I could see him going Asante Samuel Jr., but he is kind of small. I don't think he's an ideal outside guy for the NFL. He's played outside before in college, but in the NFL, I think he's best as a slot guy.
Possibly because of his size.
I can see Tyson Campbell more as an outside guy because he's taller, and I think he's a little more physical than Samuel.
He did look good in college, and he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school.
Yes, he was.
So,
and I think he'd be a fine number 2.
Jair Alexander and Tyson Campbell. Hey, that's got a nice ring to it if I'm Packers fans.
That's not bad.
Now we have the Buffalo Bills. They could use linebacker because Matt Milano is going to be a free agent. Nick Bolin's right there. Perfect outside linebacker for their system.
It's perfect right there. Nick Bolin to the Buffalo Bills. That'd be nice.
Now we have the Pittsburgh Steelers once again. Oh, boy. This is going to be a topic of discussion here. Leatherwood's on the board, even though I'm not taking him because he's more so of a guard next level, and we don't need guard.
No, we don't. We're good. We got DeCastro and Dotson.
We don't need safety for once, thankfully. I don't think we need receiver. We're still stacked. Well, I don't want to say we're stacked, but I think we have starter quality receivers even if Juju leaves, which I don't see happening just yet.
Right.
Even though a part of me does think. That's why I kind of paused there for a second.
I can see him leaving. I can see him leaving, but at the same time, I can't. It's really hard to tell if Juju goes or not.
Yeah.
But right now, he's a free agent. Free agent technically, but
if they want to go best player available and in need, Pat Freiermuth right there is a hell of a fucking pick.
Right. They don't have a number 2. Freiermuth would be a perfect number 2 as a start and work his way as number 1 since Ebron's going to be a free agent next year.
After next year.
Right.
So, but, Creed Humphrey right there just popped there. They need center.
Yeah, because the only center we got on the team is J.C. Hasenauer, and he's not starter quality.
Right. Or they could go Landon Dickerson, but again, his injury concern always is always brought up.
Yeah. Now, with them trading back, I can see center here as more of a reasonable pick. But again, and I've said this several times, the offensive line, whether it's tackle or center, it's so stacked day 2. I'm sure we can find a gem day 2. You can't forget about running back.
No, you can't.
And the Steelers have said several times they want to fix the running game. They want to buff up the running game. Well, James Conner's going to be a free agent, no doubt. He's not staying with the team.
Well, if we're looking at running back here, there's one guy I really like that could go day 1 because he is a complete back. That man is Javonte Williams. After him, I don't see one guy outside of maybe Trey Sermon or even maybe a Kylan Hill because I think those guys have potential as complete backs in the league. But even then, I wouldn't take them to the 3rd round.
No.
Outside of that, Michael Carter is a great change of pace back, good number 2. He's going to be undersized for the NFL. That's why he's a number 2, but he's also poor in pass protection. Gained loads of receiving back and still is a little inexperienced at running back. Stevenson, I honestly have to look more into him. But that's about it.
Chuba Hubbard, I was a fan of him, but, he kind of declined a little bit.
Sermon and Hill are the only guys I really like outside of Javonte Williams. But again, I'm not taking them to round 3, which I can see the Steelers doing, but they really do need to buff up running back. So we have a true number 1 actual starting running back for the depth chart.
Right.
Who can still rotate. And a guy that rotated nicely in college
With Michael Carter.
was Javonte Williams.
Yes.
So now for the first round, I'm not talking Steelers value. I'm talking first round value. Running back might be a little bit more valuable because offensive lineman, you can strike anyone day 2 because of how stacked it is.
Right.
Just look at offensive tackle. Look at all these guys. All possible starter quality.
They are.
Offensive guard. You got plenty of guys, even though guard's not an option for us. Center. You got these 4 first picks are nice. Trey Hill and Drake Jackson, if we want to save center for later, which I don't see, are still nice sleeper guys in the later rounds. So you can strike offensive linemen later. And Kevin Colbert has came out and said, hey, I like how deep offensive tackle is. So they could wait. And again, the whole Zach Banner news.
Mm-hmm.
They could go running back. However, I could see them really prioritizing center a little more. Because they don't have a number 1 center.
Exactly. And I can definitely see them going center first.
But again, they could save that for later. But is that a little bit of a risk if they have a guy like Humphrey or Dickerson that they like a little bit more?
There's also a possibility that either one of them could remain at their second pick.
If not, they could go Myers.
It's always possible.
If not, they could go Myers or Miners.
But you can't go wrong with either.
I mean, they like their Buckeyes and they like their small school prospects.
Yes, they do.
So, I mean, it's
really a toss-up right here for when it really comes to running back and center. But you can't go wrong with Javonte Williams. Williams has been getting some talk about being a first-rounder, and I can see why. It's hard to deny how talented he is, how he was in North Carolina, and how he could be in the NFL. And when it comes to the Pittsburgh, and we said this several times, when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Javonte Williams fits the mold like a glove.
Like a glove. So, my 2 options for you right here, right now. I'll give you the option.
The selection, okay.
Javonte Williams or Creed Humphrey?
I'm going Javonte.
Really?
I'm going Javonte.
I was going to edge a little bit more towards Humphrey because I think they might take center a little bit more seriously.
Which I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to deny. I can see that as well.
And I think Humphrey here, knowing that we traded back and got extra capital out of it and still got our star center later, and Creed Humphrey is a little bit more reasonable. I know him in the first round might be a little bit hard to accept for some of you guys, but it's a little bit more reasonable when you trade back.
Right.
But so is taking Javonte Williams at the same spot. So you're going to take Javonte.
I'm going to actually take Javonte here, yeah.
Okay.
I like Javonte a lot. Now, I can see us taking center, but maybe we just want to make sure that we have a true running back.
For the depth chart.
Right.
And for the future, of
and
course.
for the first round.
And at least, hey, we have Javonte Williams for 5 years.
And he's still young. He's going to be 21 come draft time.
21. So he's very young. Very young. Now we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to finish this first full-round mock draft. Of course, we have the Bucs that need D-tackle. They need edge. They need running back. They need...
Well, they're going to be having a lot of free agents. Let me just say that. They're going to have Levante David, Shaq Barrett, Chris Godwin, just to name a few. And Ndamukong Suh.
And Antonio Brown. But I think Ndamukong Suh is going to be the odd man out there. Because Barrett has just... I don't know what happened to him, but he has completely just... risen since leaving Denver.
Yeah.
He's had, someone needs to test this man. Production.
Oh, he's so electric. He's so dynamic. It's hard to let go of Shaq Barrett.
And I think they're going to keep Chris Godwin because him and Evans are just unfair.
And Levante David. You have to maintain Levante David.
So Suh's going to be odd man out, and they don't have a number 2 or arguably number 1 D-tackle.
Right.
Alongside Vita Vea.
And Christian Barmore right there would be pretty deadly. For the defensive line.
Boost up that D-line for sure. But anyway, guys, that is our first official first round 2021 NFL full mock draft. Let us know your guys' thoughts and your mock draft down below, of course. And again, this is the first of what I think could be 3 or 4 of these first-round full mock drafts for the offseason. This is a pre-free agency edition. We'll do one after free agency after free agency kind of wears down a little bit, and we'll do one the week of the draft, and possibly another one somewhere in between there.
Right.
Maybe we bring on a guest or something for that possibly. But, yeah, here's a little backstory, the results. We see Washington train up for their future quarterback. We see Tennessee train up for serious pass rush. We see the Chiefs trade up for serious pass protection. So, it's crazy stuff. But let us know you guys' thoughts and your mock draft down below, man. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later. Peace!
I just botched the ending.